Errol Spence trainer. Derrick James is jacked and in shape. What does this mean for a potential Terrence Crawford fight? I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment. SLC, let's go. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you come in and smash the like button. SLC, subscribe, like, and comment for the latest and greatest in boxing and boxing news. Now, I came across this picture, and it was Derrick James in the midst of training. Now, Derrick James has had a fruitful year, great year in the sport of boxing. He prepared his fighter, one of his star fighters, Errol Spence Jr., in a unification with Jermell. And I was very impressed with Errol's performance over Ugas. Make sure you guys, again, come in and subscribe to the channel. Reason being, Errol Spence was coming off an eye injury. Me, personally, I didn't make a big deal about the eye injury. It is what it is, and Errol knows his body and what he's feeling better than anyone else. So I was reading a lot of, just naysayers and people who are experts without really being experts. They're not really like optometrists, or they have no, expertise or background in eye surgery. But everybody on, since we live in the age of technology and the age of cell phones, everybody seems to be an expert online. So a lot of people had questions like, oh, is Errol going to be the same? Errol Spence, what's he going to do? And I wasn't really worried about that, but seeing is believing. And what he did with Ugas was very impressive. Ugas, when you compare his last two performances to his fight with Errol Spence, you'll be real surprised because, before the Errol Spence fight, he was fighting guys like Ramos and Figueroa and even Pacquiao, and he was looking real sharp and real dangerous on a win streak. I really thought he beat Showtime Sean Porter when they fought. Close fight though. And Errol Spence, he just had his way with him. A lot of people keep bringing up the mouthpiece fiasco, but that was such a small portion of that fight. For 10 rounds, it was the Errol Spence show. And I see it's usually old media. They want to hone in and focus in on Devin Haney being hurt by Jorge Linares in a 10-second space of time in one round. They want to focus in on Errol Spence dropping his mouthpiece or getting his mouthpiece knocked out and getting clipped with free shots and going towards the ropes. But all in all, I thought Errol Spence looked real sharp. Even Danny Garcia, who's a former foe of Errol Spence Jr., said he was surprised by that. So Derrick James helped prepare for that. Then he had his fight, another prize fighter in his stable is Jermell Charlo, much anticipated rematch, undisputed, with Brian Castano. Some people felt all types of ways about the first fight. Jermell Charlo shut everybody up. Derrick James and Jermell Charlo had an amazing game plan, came back, set the record straight, proved their worth, and proved they can make the adjustments just like he did with Tony Harrison. Now, Derrick James probably gearing his fighter, Frank Martin, who I'm checking for, up for his next bout coming up, and I like it. So Derrick James being in shape, it goes a long way because there's an old saying, the old adage, lead by example. Derrick James is definitely doing that. And I can attest to this because I remember, this is no shame, no offense, but I remember interviewing Derrick James years ago, and he was at a different weight and it was visible. You could tell his face was fuller, things like that. Derrick James looks like he's in monster shape. So again, lead by example. Derrick James is clearly doing the work with his fighters, and that's impressive. It's impressive. I know he's a former fighter and everything, but it's impressive because there's a lot of guys that are former fighters that are training their fighters, and like Eddie Reynoso, Bomac, they're all former fighters, but they're not in the same shape as Derrick James is right now. And to each his own. I'm not, here to point fingers at anybody. I just like seeing this from Derrick James because what better way than to lead by example and be in the trenches with your particular fighters. You're showing them. So imagine how much of a POS you would feel like if you're younger than your coach and you're the active fighter. And I'm just making an example. I'm not saying that they do this, but let's say Frank Martin, Jermell Charlo, Errol Spence. Let's say they're like, I want to take the day off. And then you go look at Derrick James, his story, and he's running. That wouldn't really make sense. So any situation where the coach, you don't want it, ain't nobody want their coach to outwork them. That's like Kobe and Shaq not making it to practice or being too tired, but Phil Jackson is out there shooting in practice. You know, that just wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense in any sense of the word. So to see Derrick James leading the pack in this way, I respect it. Put some respect on my name. I ain't gonna say it no more. Derrick James got to be trainer of the year. Now, this leads me to that point, trainer of the year. Listen to what I say on my channel. I've been saying that Derrick James, he got to be trainer of the year. No doubt. Other trainers have done great things like Yoel Diaz and Dimitri Bivol. They beat Canelo. Great job. But Derrick James, he gets the nod because unfortunately for Bivol, we know that they don't want Canelo to be back in there with Bivol. Henceforth, why Canelo is fighting against Triple G instead of fighting Bivol when they could easily have just went into the rematch. So that shows me that Canelo's team, they were afraid of a Bivol rematch and the potential outcome. So they just went with a 40-year-old Triple G. So therefore, Bivol is in a position where he, unfortunately, his next fight probably won't be something that people are checking for, or he'll be inactive until Canelo decides to fight him again, if that even happens, right? So Bivol, he's not gonna most likely get to have a big fight like Zordo Ramirez or whoever. So you look at Derrick James, he just got too many hits. It's like Drake or J. Cole or somebody. It's hard to put, if somebody got a complete album, track after track is slamming and jumping, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to put somebody with one singular great performance. And I don't know Yoel Diaz any other high profile fights. I look for Frank Martin to do well. Jermell Charlo did great in a, like, boxing fans, they trifling sometimes because they want to anoint certain things as fight of the year and this and that. And to me, you can't be fight of the year when there was another fight that was a fight of the year, plus it was super meaningful, meaning it was everything on the line, like a unification or undisputed, like Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano. You can't trump that being like Mick Connellan and Leigh Wood or something, or just another fight that has good action. Because when the stakes are the highest and the guys are performing like Jermell Charlo performed, like Errol Spence performed at home with almost 40,000 people in attendance, that has to supersede some of these other fights that are good and good action, but they don't mean as much, period. So salute to Derrick James and the crew. I really like what I'm seeing from Derrick James. He got to be trainer of the year. And if we get the Crawford fight with Errol Spence, if Spence can get past Crawford, then there's no way they can take it from him. Especially with Eddie Reynoso. He's been, in some people's mind, a long-time trainer of the year. And he's losing his stable. Ryan Garcia left. Frankie Sanchez left. Andy Ruiz Jr. left. And so on and so forth. And then you have Oscar Valdez, who got dominated by Shakur Stevenson. And Canelo Payday. You want payday? I know that. Who got dominated by Dimitri Bivol. It got to be Derrick James. Salute to Derrick James for leading by example. I stand by that. And I hope more fighters, trainers start doing this, because it's like your parents. Like, your trainer got to be your parent, your mom, your brother, your sister, everybody. Mike Tyson recently said this as well. And when you lead by that example, it would be like your parents telling you not to drink and drive, and then they don't drink and drive, right? Or telling you to save your money and they're responsible with their money. It would be hard for a parent to, even though it's the right thing, to not spend your whole paycheck. But if they're getting a paycheck and blowing it gambling and telling you to save your money, then it's a harder sell to a kid. And, you know, you're going to be like, oh, that's a hypocrite. You know what I mean? My parents are telling me to save, but they not saving, even though your parents want the best for you. You guys get it. I know you get it. SLC, subscribe, like, comment. I'm the best doing it. For boxing news, if you want to be informed on what's going on in this beautiful sport of boxing, it is up to you to hit the subscribe button like right now. And I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.